storygoers, and welcome back to yet another episode of Tales from the Cartridge, the video game storytelling podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Eric Penrod.
And I am your other co-host, Ryan Bauer.
Ryan, it's a tired Sunday, it's a tired Saturday as we record this. We both just yawned before we started.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll stay awake for the whole episode. But if one of us falls asleep, the other one will just pick up the pace, I guess. We can pretend to be each other. I don't know. So before we get into the whole spiel of this episode in its entirety and why it's different, I'd like to ask you, Ryan, how are you? And what have you been playing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my second COVID shot yesterday, so I'm recovering from that. Yes, very exciting, but my body is fighting it, which is good. Mm-hmm. Making those things to help it stronger. But because of that, I'm feeling kind of zonked out. The past couple weeks of work have just been like slogs. But it's okay. It's just how it goes. But overall, I'm doing good. I'm excited that I got my first shot, or my second shot. Mm-hmm. Excited that I got my second shot and can start maybe branching out and doing some other exciting things as the world gets safer, or at least I myself am safer.
Yeah.
As far as what I've been playing, a ton of Stardew Valley still with me and my partner. We're playing a ton of Stardew. We just reached year 3. Which was very exciting. A little bit of Outriders. When I first tried Outriders, did not enjoy it. Didn't enjoy the gameplay experience. And I've been playing more of it, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And our friend Dave and my cousin and our friend Tyler also got it. So we've played together once as we've been trying to coordinate schedules. But it's been pretty fun. It's got a very like Diablo Destiny vibe. With like some, I guess I never played the Gears games, but it's like a third-person shooter game, so you're like looking over the shoulder. But it's fun. It's a good time. I'm excited to see where it goes. I've been wanting kind of a grindy game, and so it's been really fun. And then a little bit of Valheim, just here and there when possible. But yeah, that's how I'm doing. That's what I'm playing.
Is Outriders? How many players is it? Is it as many as you need, or is it 4? Like in a group? I mean,
3
together.
Parties of 3.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
It's always so interesting to me. There's parties of 3 because there has to be groups of 4 that are just like, well, sorry, Rick, you're not coming along.
Right. Yeah, and that one of the things with only 3 players feels like not a lot, but also like as an adult, it's so hard to get 3 people together, and so that's a challenge in itself. But that's okay. Yeah. So three's been fine so far, but we'll see if as oftentimes in our friend group, as if like one person gets a game and then more people start talking about it, more people get that game, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I keep seeing you guys talk about it this week. I'm like, man, I didn't think Outriders looked that good, but like maybe I should try it. Everyone else seems to love it. So like, I mean, I wasn't super into Destiny. I enjoyed Destiny because everyone else played Destiny, and that's what I enjoyed, is just hanging out with you guys and playing it. I never like was super into it. Good. I mean, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but like I just never cared a whole lot about playing it. And when when your cousin, our mutual friend Tyler, posted a picture of his like kind of his gear or his loadout, like I thought it was Destiny 2. I literally thought it was Destiny. It looked so much like it. It was. I was like, oh, that's Outriders. Yeah, I really thought you guys went back to Destiny 2. Yeah, but I've been thinking about it. I actually just stopped Game Pass because I wasn't using it for the last 2 months. But then, which of course happens when everybody else, finds a game on it that they like. So maybe I'll have to like try it out and see what I think.
Yeah, there's a demo on PlayStation that gives you like the first like 5 or 6 hours of the game, like the first intro of the game. Lets you try out all the classes. So I played the demo 2 or 3 times before actually like enjoying it, because like my first playthrough I was like hiding behind cover and like shooting, when really you're just supposed to kind of run around and shoot people. You're not supposed to be like super tactical. But it's give it a try if it's something you're interested in. The demo is free and you get quite a bit of game out of it, so it's worth if you're interested. But Eric, how are you, and what have you been playing?
I'm good. I feel like we both keep saying this lately, but like work's been a lot lately. I think it's just it's just what happens sometimes. The roller coaster keeps going down, but eventually, man, it has to go back up. you have to hope so.
Right.
But besides that, really good. Same old. Nothing crazy happening. For games, though, I finally beat Ratchet and Clank. Beat it last weekend. I did. I really enjoyed it. I think what you were telling me about it, I think it's such a cute, fun game. It's just kind of enjoyable to throw on and play. It's like spray and pray. Jeez. kind of game where you're kind of just throwing everything out there. And it's just so funny because I did it I was started at normal, and I texted you and I was like, man, this game is like super easy. Like, should I like go to very hard? And you're like, yeah, I think you probably should. Like, if you want a little bit more of a challenge. I was like, yeah, I guess I kind of do. I threw it on. It was like no different really, except for like the most random parts got insanely hard. Like the hoverboard competition, got like insanely harder, insanely harder. And then the escaping the sewer also is impossible on hard mode. I don't care. Before you get like any of the later like items, I can't even think of anything that would help you in that situation. But like I was watching tutorials, I was watching, like reading through guides online, and just nothing was working. I was getting so frustrated. I had to go back to normal. I just swallow my pride and go back to normal to beat it, and then go back to very hard. Like I had, like I wasn't ashamed of myself already. So it was But besides that, though, it was a really good game. I'm excited. I thought it was like you could kind of see how like the movie was cut and pasted into this game, and it didn't flow super well. So I'm actually, but I did enjoy it still. So it makes me excited for Rift in Time. I think
Rift Apart.
It's
their fault. It's their fault for naming them so badly.
No, there's so many rifts in these titles. I don't know which one's which. I'm excited for the new one coming out. I think it looks much more cohesive, much more like it knows what's happening and what's going on, and I am excited for that. I will say though, the thing that I like the most about the Ratchet and Clank game, the remake, is the redemption of Captain Cork. I think that was great, and it was handled pretty well. I like that spoilers if you haven't played it. I like that you see his like, oh crap, like I think I'm making a big mistake by doing this. Like, I actually do care, and I'm not so self-centered as everyone thinks, and and he's repaying for his crimes, or repenting, I guess I should say. It was good. It was really good though. So yeah, beat that, and then I just jumped into Breath of the Wild again. I don't know what it was, but like I need like a Zelda game. Yeah, I need like a Zelda game to like go to, and I just didn't want to spend the money. I was gonna buy Link's Awakening, the new one for the Switch, but it's $60 because Nintendo doesn't like to discount their actual games. So I was like, So I threw Breath of the Wild in, and I just been totally immersed. I played for like 3 or 4 hours last night. I played like this morning a little bit. My goal is to not do any of the Divine Beasts. I'm just going to get as many heart containers as possible, get that Master Sword, and kill Ganon. That's my goal. I don't know if it'll work or not. I mean, I think it will. I saw someone do a no damage run recently, and it's insane. Like, they had like nothing, and they did it. And so I imagine my goal will be obtainable. And I've died many times already. So
that sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not a good game. It's just a game to get lost into. It's just when things are too hard in the real world, jump into Hyrule. Sometimes it's crappy there, but at least not the real world. So yeah. Anyway, so that's how we're doing. We hope that you enjoyed our latest bedtime story of Star Fox 64. I did do the best job with explaining that this was the easy run of the game. There's actually 3 runs: easy, intermediate, and hard. Each telling kind of like the same story, but just in a little bit different ways. So eventually we'll get to the other runs. If I struggle to find new bedtime stories to cover, probably. But hopefully you enjoyed it. It did very well, so which is good.
Yeah, it did really well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I hope you liked it, and let us know what you think, your thoughts, feelings, and perspectives on all the games that we cover, or all the things we talk about at Twitter and on Instagram. DM us, comment on our posts, let us know what you think. You can also email us at talesfromthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3s. We would be happy to hear from you, to get your perspective, and you can earn a free sticker for it, which is always super duper cool. I will take any and all comments at this point that's not promote yourself at, and then some stupid Instagram name that is just made 5 minutes ago. Like, I can tell you, the moment we post something on Instagram, it is just bombarded by bots telling us to promote ourselves on their platform. I refuse. I would rather us stop podcasting than promote ourselves on these bots. I will never promote on these bots. And if I do, then I'm not me. It's an alien. That's right. My sign. So that's the sign that that's not me. So yeah, I just absolutely refuse. So I think we both absolutely refuse. I definitely refuse. I don't. Do you refuse? Okay.
I also refuse. I mean, we'll see if work in my life at least continues to get more and more terrible, maybe I'll start looking at seeing if there's a route there, but not yet.
Not yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. The abyss is there, but we haven't gone into it quite yet. Yeah. Right. So today's episode's a little special, a little different. Yeah. It's funny, I updated our bio recently to say sometimes we're late, life kind of happens, you never know what really happens. And it's kind of what happened to us recently. There's been a lot going on. And, Ryan has been working super hard on his Bastion script for our next episode. But, it's just life's difficult. And, we're both working and it's hard to kind of pick up things sometimes and finish them on time. So we decided to take it easy this week. And you also got your second shot, and that's not easy to get through. And I had a really rough day at work the other day. I had an old lady scream at me. I was going 30 in a 20. Actually, okay. I was going 30 through a residential. Not too bad. I wasn't like speed racer here. All right. Unmarked miles per hour on this road. This lady, this is the second time this has happened, by the way. This lady waves at me. Everyone on my street waves at me. I don't get it. I don't know anybody, so they always wave at me, whatever. I'm waving back to this lady. It's happened twice now, okay? I'm waving back to this lady, and she's not actually waving at me to say hi. She's waving at me to slow down. She mouths, slow down, to me every time. And I'm always thinking that she's just being nice until after I drive away and I realize, oh, wait, she was telling me to slow down.
You're just like, no.
Again, I'm not Speed Racer. I'm just waving at her, smiling, and she's like, slow down. I'm not Speed Racer. I'm not racing down these streets like being this juvenile delinquent trying to hurt people. Like, I'm just going, I'm going at an appropriate speed. I'm not hurting anybody. No one is in any danger. But yeah, so this week, that was just the beginning of the end for this week, I swear. Like, it was just like downhill from there. Mm-hmm. So, which leads us to, I went on a whole ramble there, I'm so sorry. This leads us to why we're doing this episode. Actually, Ryan, you want to describe to the viewers, the storygoers, what we're doing for this episode?
Yeah, so we're going to try something new. We're going to do, it's like a Tales from the Cartridge news. We've like rounded up a bunch of news stories related to video games, stories that we're kind of excited about or that we were interested in. On the side, we'll share them because I think one of the things about this podcast is it is, I think, accessible to people who aren't super into games because it is about games, but it's mostly about the stories inside those games and how those help help us shape the way we look at the world and help us have a way to tell stories. So this is kind of a way to give some folks some information on some things that are going on in the gaming world. If you're interested, please let us know if you want to see more things like this. So this is certainly something we can do more of if it's something people are interested in. Or if not, you can also let us know that, hey, I really am missing your stories. Let's focus on those. Just let us know so we can have that feedback. But yeah, so we're just we rounded up 3 news stories each that we're going to kind of just share and talk through as we are both individuals who more or less follow when we have time, what's going on in the gaming world because it's such a big part of both of our lives. So we thought we would share that with y'all and see what you guys think.
It's funny because when we first were trying to figure out how to do a podcast, I think the idea of this was, at least for me, and tell me what you think, Ryan, I didn't want to do something like this because I felt like everybody was kind of doing this, but now that we have our niche, our thing that we do with the storytelling, the idea of doing a news type episode for Tales is cool because now we have our thing. We do our thing, it's cool, but having the news thing is kind of fun too. So again, Ryan, you're totally right. If storygoers, if you like this kind of thing, let us know. Or if you don't, let us know also. That feedback is super helpful. But yeah, so we both picked 3 stories each, like Ryan said. That is 6 stories if you can't do math, and we will go through them one by one, kind of breaking it down, and hopefully you like it. Without further ado, Ryan, would you like to start us on the first story that you brought to the table?
Yeah, so the stories I brought are mine start off kind of small and then not super important to then like pretty big and meaning a lot to the video game world. So my first one is the Animal Crossing soundtrack. Animal Crossing is a game we both talked about a lot. It was a big part of, at least especially for me, my quarantine experience, and they're coming out with a soundtrack. That being said, the soundtrack is 7 CDs long. It has all of the KK Slider songs, the entire discography, as well as music for every single hour of every single day on these 7 CDs. And I don't know if you're looking at this article, Eric, but there's this like big, beautiful box set that it comes in. I saw that. Yeah, it's really cool. And I have to say, like, music is one of the things, like the ska kind of really chill, jazzy Animal Crossing music just really does it for me. I remember before New Horizons came out, I would like put it on just while I was like hanging around the house and just listen to like like 8 p.m. just while I was walking around the house. And it was just like really, really relaxing. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's actually, I'm pretty sure it's releasing in Japan, and it might make its way this way. Like it'll probably be on Amazon. You can get it that way, but it's really cool. So that's my first news story is Animal Crossing soundtrack, 7 CDs worth of Animal Crossing music.
Ryan, you're gonna regret this, I think, because someone's gonna like edit you saying, "I really enjoyed that ska," and put it on every day.
It's fine. I stand by that.
I'm gonna have to do it. I'll do like a press release, like, "I'm sorry, like Ryan's ska loving is not a part of our Tales endeavor here. I don't agree with it."
Do a hard cut.
Like, no, it's
so it's just you by yourself.
Yeah. I'm looking at the box set right now, and it's insanely cool. I just can't imagine. So say like your mom who doesn't play Animal Crossing, or maybe does, but pretend like, you know, someone, a relative, an older relative, gets in your car, right? They don't play Animal Crossing, no idea what it is. You forgot the CDs in your car, and Kick Slider comes on.
Yeah, some KKR&B just playing.
Yeah. KK ska, you know.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? Like, I bought this 7-disc box set. I mean, I sound like I'm ragging on it. I love Animal Crossing also, and I think it's such a cool thing. I'm looking at it now. It looks super cool. I like the KK songs as well. And just the idea of kind of, like, I at work will throw on background music, a lot of like lo-fi music on YouTube, but the idea of just having Animal Crossing playing in the background of something, like, it'd be cool, like in a coffee shop, kind of just playing in the background as you're doing your thing, like it's kind of just ambiance, kind of just playing in the background. So it just sounds very kind of nice and relaxing, and I mean, people love it. I mean, it's just crazy. 7 CDs. I don't even know anyone that actually uses CDs anymore.
That's part of it.
I actually just got, I forgot to tell you this, Ryan. You're going to learn this live with the Storygoers. I actually just got a new car, and it doesn't have a CD player. Thanks. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. I forgot to mention that part, with the life part. Yeah, it was last week, so it totally like just out of my mind.
It's okay.
But it doesn't even have a CD player, so I couldn't even listen to this if I wanted to in the car. This avoids the awkward situation.
You'd have to like bring a Walkman and like put the headphones in. I think it comes with like a set of KK Slider themed headphone, or maybe a headphone case. I don't know. Who can say?
I think you're right. I see it right there, but I had no idea what it
actually
you could.
Is. I think maybe you. I don't think maybe it doesn't come with headphones. Maybe you could put your Apple headphones, whatever you use. If you're, you know what I mean. You could put your headphones in that case and just carry that around, I guess. Just carry and plug it into what? I don't know. Who can say? There are some people using Walkmans. I don't know. I just hope it's on like Spotify.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has to be eventually.
Or YouTube. It'll be on YouTube.
It'll be definitely on YouTube. It probably already is on YouTube, actually. Yeah. It says here that it has 7 CDs, custom albums to hold them, and what appears to be a KK Slider themed headphone case. So I guess this article doesn't know either. So whatever.
This story I found on Verge, and it is by Ian Carlos Campbell. Soup's the name on Twitter. They're the one who put this story together. The Animal Crossing New Horizons soundtrack has 7 CDs worth of island vibes. It's a really great article. I'm really excited about the CDs. I'm really curious what the price point will be, because I just have no concept of how much they're going to charge for something like this, but we'll see.
It doesn't sound. I don't think it says here either how much it's going to cost.
No, if you go to the Amazon page, it just says out of stock.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's just sell out instantly. Instantly. So cool. I think it's awesome. For the people who love Animal Crossing, I think they're going to love this. It's cool. That's super cool. Good story, Ryan. Good way to start off.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Eric, you want to dive into your first story?
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. So my first story is a plea, really, to people to stop being mean. Just stop being mean to people who don't deserve it. This article is Deathloop has been delayed again till September 14th. And this is by, oh God, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. This is from The Verge, and it's by Cham Gardenberg. Cham? So Deathloop's been delayed once again. It's been delayed probably 2 or 3 times now. I think 3. This article says 2, but I'm pretty sure it's been 3. Times now to September 14th. Its original release date was holiday 2020. So way off. It was supposed to release with the PS5 release also. And I feel like why I brought this up is that I feel like every time I hear about Deathloop getting delayed, people just destroy it in the comments or destroy like every time there's a trailer for it, people just really rag on it. And I get like, we're seeing a lot of things happening in this game. It's like not so spoiler as it is like just give it to me at this point. But I just feel like it really sucks that Arcane Studios is getting such like a bad rap for these delays. And a lot of them is because of COVID. They're saying that COVID really hurt them with developing the game. But I think Arcane Studios has really shown that they are a good studio from the games that they've put out. Like, I mean, Dishonored 1 and 2, Prey, like just those three alone are just fantastic games. I really love, I've played Dishonored 1 like countless times, probably a good like 10 to 20 times, doing like no death runs, and just it's always such a great game. Things I'm always learning new things in these games, and that's just how much detail Arcane Studios has put into these games. And so that's what makes me so excited for Deathloop. But I'm just sad that it gets such a bad rap, and I'm really nervous it's not going to do well and what that's going to do to Arcane. So I don't know. I wanted to throw that out there. It sucks that it got delayed again, of course. I wanted it as soon as I could. It was supposed to be released May 21st, and now it's back to September 14th, which is a huge delay, huge. But I would like to say, like, I think we all can agree that delays suck, but delays are good. Because we're not releasing a Cyberpunk 2077. 2077? Oh, no, what is it? Cyberpunk
2077. Yeah, it's 2077.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I thought I was throwing a number out there. We're not releasing a Cyberpunk 2077 again. With all the bugs and jankiness that brought about. I didn't play it, but from what we heard. So yeah, I don't know. Ryan, do you have any thoughts on this? Like what your thoughts on Arcane are, or the games that they put out, or whatever that may be?
Yeah, I love Arcane. I mean, I've played the Dishonored games and love them. Prey, for me, is one of the best games ever that I've played. I love Prey so much. It is such a fun and complex and interesting game that lets you make some really cool choices. And then at the end of the game, the reveal is really great. I love Arcane. I'm really excited to see what they do next. And I, just like you, I think delays are always better than releasing unfinished games. I think the challenge is always balancing, like, we need to get this out because we spent so much money on this, or like we need to put this out, we have to have like a good game, and it's balancing those scales. But I always think it's better to delay. You're going to win over a larger player base by stopping that delay. I mean, I think 77 still probably made their money back, and they're doing okay.
Oh yeah.
But I just, as a individual who consumes this media, I would much rather play a complete and finished proper experience than fight through an unfinished one. I mean, I think even with Outriders, which I've been playing recently, has a bug in it that could wipe your inventory. You know what I mean? Like, that just all this work that you've been doing is just gone, and that's something that they, I think, just fixed, and it's been out for 2 weeks. So it's I would much rather a game come out and not have, you have to like fight the game to play it, than it be in the right place. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think if they need more time, they need more time, and I hope they get it. I hope whoever their publisher is allows them to have that time, or if it's themselves, I hope they have the financial stability to take that time.
Yeah, exactly. And just you bringing all these things up reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't know if you played that. Did you play that, right?
No, I didn't.
So why that comes to my mind is that Metal Gear Solid 5 was not finished completely at all. It was like the ending was kind of just cuts off because Kojima didn't have enough time, and Konami was like, no, you gotta get this out. So instead of delaying it, it was just shipped out. And great game, a lot of fun, but it didn't feel whole. And now it's the last like Kojima Metal Gear that's just not done, and it just leaves this bad taste in your mouth of what it could have been. I think details later came out of what the plan was and how cool it would have been if Kojima could have finished it. But yeah, so I think you're right. Once this game comes out, no one's going to remember these. No one is going to remember these delays because the game will be in their hands. They'll be enjoying it. So all those delays are going to be out of your mind, and you have a much polished and better game than the game that would have came out May 21st. So yeah, I don't know. Just a PSA to not be a jerk towards Arcane. I don't know. Yeah. I have this weird love for them. I just think they're so good. Dishonored is such a special game in my heart. And Prey 2. Prey, like you said, that ending is just like blew my mind. I was not expecting that at all. And Dishonored tells such a cool story in such a fun way, and really just makes you feel like you're a part of that world. I don't want to be a part of that world. That world is really sad and depressing, but man, it made me feel like a part of it, and it was really cool. So, just overall, good studio. I think it sucks that we don't, like, if Naughty Dog needed to delay their games multiple times, which has happened in the past, no one really bats an eye at that. It's Naughty Dog. You know, you take as much time as you need, Naughty Dog. You're the best. Like, don't worry about it. Like CG Patrick Red, don't worry about it. Like Cyberpunk, you take your time, even though they didn't and they released it way too soon. But Arcane Studios, you're kind of like lesser well known, even though you're great. Shame on you for delaying your game twice. Like, how dare you? It's not fair, but it is what it is. So, all right, that was a ramble. Ryan, we are on to your next story.
So this is a story I actually first saw on Twitter at the start of the week, and it's been kind of percolating over the week. And then at the end of the week, we got some information. But the article I'm referencing is on Overclock 3D, which I think that was originally, this story was broke by Bloomberg Japan. But when I was looking for it, this is the first article I found. It's by Mark Campbell. And it's about Square Enix. There's been rumors this week that Square Enix is possibly going to be bought out, or there'll be a merger between them and a larger company. This came after the Bethesda ZeniMax merger or buyout, which was I think $7.5 billion buyout, which is insane. But yeah, huge. So after that happened, there was rumors, and I think there might have been some paperwork that Square Enix is looking to kind of make some financial change. But Square Enix has come out and said, and Square Enix is the folks who make Final Fantasy, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Kingdom Hearts, Just Cause. They published Outriders they have a lot of really good games, and they've been making games for a really long time. So there's rumors that they were going to get bought out similarly to Bethesda and ZeniMax, and Square Enix has came out and saying, nope, that we're not gonna, this merger isn't happening. We are not looking to be acquired. We are not looking to merge with anyone. We're going to keep doing our own thing, and we've received no offers. So that kind of squashes that idea. There was a lot of back and forth on if Sony was going to like buy up Square Enix, or if Microsoft was going to also buy up Square Enix. So I think that was a really interesting conversation. No. But yeah, so did you see this story around at all, Eric? Did you know this was going on?
I did actually. Before we started recording, I was on Instagram really fast, and I saw something that like Square Enix says no to buyout, and I was like, what? And then I didn't even look into it. But now it's all coming together for me. If the idea of Square being bought out by somebody kind of makes me super sad, because Square is such a profound publisher, developer since my childhood with Final Fantasy. And when you brought that up to me, of all the games you listed, you forgot one that I thought was very profound for this last year, and that was Avengers.
Oh, they did Avengers. I didn't even realize.
They did Avengers. Yeah. They did Avengers, unfortunately for them. Yeah. And so when I thought of that, I was like, yeah, like they probably lost a good chunk of change on Avengers. Potentially. I think it was, maybe it wasn't a loss. But I know it wasn't received well. But then again, Final Fantasy VII did extremely well last year. I believe last year. And now with the DLC coming out very soon, I think this summer, they're probably looking to do even better. So the idea of Sony buying Square Enix would make me happy, because Square Enix is very much, in my mind, a PlayStation-centric, developer/publisher. The idea of Microsoft buying them would break my heart, and I would hate Microsoft forever.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison, so Square is valued at like $6.88 billion. They bought Bethesda for 7.5. So like also the amount of money, like I don't know if people realize this, but gaming is like worth twice the amount of music, movies, and TV combined. It's an obscene amount. Yeah, it's an obscene amount of money. But yeah, they're valued at about $6.8 billion. So a buyout is a large chunk of money, but somebody just paid more for an equally as large and beloved studio. That it's going to be really interesting. I mean, I'm glad at least that Microsoft seems to be not going to keep them to themselves. We'll see though if that changes. But yeah, but it's wild.
Yeah, for sure. And like the idea of when Microsoft announced that they were buying ZeniMax, or what it's called, which has Bethesda part of it, that broke the internet for the gaming industry that day. Yeah. Really for that like month. Like it's crazy. The idea that Bethesda, they had their own like showcase in the summer for E3, and like they were doing their own thing. Like they're almost like Electronic Arts in terms of like how big they were becoming, and publishing all these games and developing all these games. They had Fallout, obviously, whatever. The point is, like, the idea that they were bought out is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, I would be worried about Square Enix, because, like, with those numbers in mind, like, yeah, they could totally be bought out. Like, Sony and Microsoft could pay for those easy. I would hope, if I had to pick, I would hope it was Sony that bought them. Do you have a preference?
Also Sony, but I think that's just because we both are biased in that we've kind of more gravitated towards Sony systems.
Yeah, that's true.
And these experiences I have always experienced on Sony. I've always only ever played Fallout games on my PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, hopefully someday. But so it'll be interesting to see how this changes as these companies start buying up and we see more of this monopolization of games. What that's going to mean? Is it going to mean that ZeniMax, Bethesda is going to have more freedom, or is it going to mean they're going to have less? It's all kind of up in the air.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, they say no now, but now the blood is in the water, right? The idea is out there. Yeah. So, I mean, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. If Bethesda can be bought out, anyone can be bought out.
Yeah.
Maybe not Electronic Arts, but pretty much everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, Eric, that's my second story on the Square Enix denying the merger acquisition. What's yours?
So my next one is kind of putting the puzzle pieces together and figuring out what's happening next in the newest iteration of Bioshock that is being done currently by developer Cloud Chamber. This is a story from Joseph Nope. Oh my god, that's your last name. That's fantastic. Joseph Nope. That is amazing. At IGN. And the title of the article is the next Bioshock game is hiring writers for open world settings. The next Bioshock game hiring writer for open world setting. Did that in all plurals before. Developer Cloud Chamber is developing the new Bioshock game and have listed a new job description for a senior writer that kind of hints at where the franchise is going. And the job description says, quote, applicants who can weave impactful character-driven stories in an open world setting. And they can also craft primary and secondary mission content. So why this is so important is that it states that it's an open world setting. And Bioshock is not, at least in the last 3 games, are not open world at all. Quite linear in terms of where the story goes throughout the games. So the idea of it being open world is crazy. And then they've already stated that they were not going back to Rapture or Columbia. So this will be a whole new place. Ken Levine, the person who created Bioshock, he did 1 and Infinite, will not be back. And many of the senior vets from the Bioshock games will be back. This says that, oh no, Hoagie de la Plante served as the creative director for Bioshock 1 and 2. The original art director, Scott Sinclair, is reprising his role, as is the Bioshock Infinite art team creative director, wow, that's a mouthful, Jonathan Peeling, is working as the design director for this new Bioshock game. So it sucks that Ken Levine's not back, but at least there's a lot of people who love Bioshock that have been a part of the series for a long time that are also working on this new iteration of it, which is cool. So yeah, the idea of it being open world is quite interesting, just because Bioshock has never been an open world game. But the idea of it being open world is pretty cool because the setting is so important to all these other games. To Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, the setting is like its own character and that you're kind of traversing through. So I don't know, I'm excited for it to be open world. I'm hopeful that this will be a cool game. I love 1, I love Infinite. I never played 2, though I've heard much about it, and I've heard a lot of people say that's really good, regardless of Ken Levine's not being involved in it. So, but Ryan, what are your thoughts on this? Open world, is that weird to you?
Yeah, it's always a challenge in games, that balance of open world and like a cohesive story, because as soon as you open the world up, you lose control of the narrative, right? Because you're allowing the player to make a choice as to where they go. So it's really hard to make the story and the setting is gripping when it's open world. I think it can be done in Breath of the Wild. I think it was done really well. That world felt really interesting and really immersive. So, but it was a challenge to do. So I'm like you. I'm hopeful that it'll be good and exciting. I really enjoy open world games, even though I don't really have the time for them anymore. But Bioshock is, like you said, the settings are such a core part of that game. They are such a core part of not just the narrative, but of all the gameplay kind of revolves around it. It'll be interesting to see how they do that with an open world. I mean, I think for me, the ideal would be a small open world that allows you to explore it. Maybe it's not as vast and empty, that it's like dense, but we'll see. With new hardware and new hardware and new software, they're able to make things larger and also dense. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I'm excited. I'm always excited for more Bioshock. It'll be interesting without Kevin Levine at the helm. But Bioshock 2, it didn't have kind of that same kind of... The story was very good, but it wasn't as kind of revolutionary, and it wasn't as mind-blowing as kind of Infinite and the first Bioshock, where they really made you think about the world, and they really took on an idea, not just like an idea of a game, but an idea of like how the world works, and really fully explored it in a way. It'll be interesting to see how they do that, but I'm like you, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, and like, I love Bioshock. It's one of my favorite franchises, and that's one of the reasons why that was our first game we ever covered on Tales, is that we love Bioshock so much. And the way that Infinite ends, spoiler alert, just in case you've never played and you want to, like the going through the multiple lighthouses and seeing all the parallel worlds and understanding how vast this like universe is in this franchise, and how it ended up settling, and the DLC that brought it all together with relating it back to Bioshock 1. It was just such a full circle thing. It was just so like beautiful, honestly, and well done. The idea of more Bioshock kind of scares me in a sense. I'm very excited for it. I'm excited to see what they can do with it. And that so many senior members of the original games are still a part of the game design. But I think Ken Levine was a huge part of that. So I'm cautiously optimistic with what happens with this. So
yeah.
But Ryan, we have gone through 2 of our stories. We're on our last ones.
Yeah.
What is your last story that you'd like to cover?
So the third article I'm bringing is E3's 2121 schedule. This is on GameSpot by Gabe Gerwin. E3 finally put out their schedule for this year. And I was just talking with Eric that E3 last year was canceled. So this one, it looks like, is going to be digital. So we'll see what this looks like. I mean, E3 has always been something that I, as a person, have wanted to go to, but then I know it's just going to be a miserable experience once you're there, just waiting in line, mostly for 2 hours to play a 10 minutes demo. But just the idea of going to this place where like the new games are is so exciting. But maybe we'll see what this is like, because I think E3 has been kind of struggling as people have pulled out and done their own thing. And looking at the schedule, it's June 12th to the 15th, so it's actually a longer. They're doing more days. Oh no, just 2 days. I think it's usually 2 days. No, 3 days, right? 12,
yeah,
15, 14.
something like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. The schedule would be starting off with Ubisoft Forward. So Ubisoft having their own thing. I'm sure it'll be a lot of Far Cry 6. Maybe some other stuff. I have no idea what else. Maybe some more
Just
Phoenix
Dance.
Rising. Just Dance. They always do Just Dance.
Always.
And then the PC gaming show, which I don't know if you watched the digital PC gaming show last year, but it was very strange and very wild and very weird, but it's fun. I don't think there was a single game in the PC gaming show that I was excited about last year. And then Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley, who we can never get enough of Jeff Keighley, I guess.
I mean...
And then Xbox and Nintendo will be there, but Sony won't. Sony's doing their own thing, which I think... And EA won't be there, which is also interesting. So it's just going to be Nintendo, Xbox, and those things. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm excited just to see some new games. Again, I think it's been a hard year for game developers because everyone was working from home and had to change, but those dates never changed, and a lot of people did. So it'll be interesting to see what this looks like, what this E3 looks like. All digital, I'm excited for, but I think my E3 experience has always been all digital. So we'll see what that feels like. But Eric, what are you excited about E3? How different do you think it'll be? What are your memories of E3, or how are you feeling?
I mean, I have a special place in my heart for E3 growing up. Like, it was always exciting. It always happened in the summer. I try to plan my schedule around, especially like Nintendo, Sony's press conferences, even Xboxes if I could. Xboxes was always not my... I used to have an Xbox, I just never was super into it, and like Halo was kind of my only go-to. Gears of War maybe with my brother. But yeah, so I would always make sure I could see Nintendo and Sony's, and I would get so excited. Like, it's always such a hype moment like that. When Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced, it was like one of the best times I remember in recent history with E3, or when God of War was announced.
Yeah.
How crazy the audience like just went. It was so exciting to hear. But I think with the way the world is working now and how things are going, E3 is kind of dying out in terms of the need for it. Like, I mean, we've seen with the PlayStation State of Play how well they can do their presentations now. And I think the biggest difference between that and like the E3 presentations is how cringy the E3 presentations can be. They can be so rough to sit through because these poor people who have no experience being on a stage are trying their best, and I'm not knocking them at all. I would do just as poorly, if not worse. Are going on stage and trying their best to read a prompter in front of millions of people watching them, and like a lot of times it's not landing. But with like a state of play, or even the Nintendo showcases or whatever they're called, Nintendo Directs, we've seen how you just do a quick intro, you do the trailer, and how just hyped that is compared to what we were getting at E3. So it's cool that E3 is back. I'm not going to say we shouldn't get it, because I think it helps a lot of developers and people who are interested. I think it's cool that it's all digital just because of the way the world is right now with COVID. But we'll see. PlayStation, I think, is showing that we don't need E3 anymore, which is really sad. Xbox is, for whatever reason, or Microsoft, for whatever reason, is... It's weird. They're like standing on the soapbox, like proclaiming, like, yes, we will stay with E3. We will be there for E3. And it's like, I don't know why you're dying on this hill for E3. Yeah. Like, it's not making you look, at least not in my eyes, maybe I'm wrong, but it's not making me look like Microsoft's any better than Sony for sticking around for E3. And Nintendo's like, I think Nintendo's just like, I'll show up if I need to.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Nintendo's like the cool kid in the back you don't really ever talk to, but they just, that they have like a lot of knowledge about stuff. Like, they could probably kill you, and you just don't, you just don't want to talk to them. They're kind of weird. Yeah. That's how I see Nintendo. But, actually, I don't know. I'm going on a whole thing. EA, I don't really care about. Yeah, I think EA has such a bad rep, and it's just, if they announced, if EA announced Jedi Fallen Order 2, I'd be pretty hyped for that. I'd be really excited to see that happen. But that's about it. I'm not into FIFA. I'm not into Madden. And we've seen semi-recently how just, they're all money hungry, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But just how poorly money hungry EA is, and their loot boxing gimmick scheme, and how they try to like work around how it's not like gambling for kids, even though it clearly is gambling for kids. And that just feels really gross. So I have no sympathy for EA. I'd be okay if they didn't show up anywhere, honestly. Which sounds rough, but like, it's true. It really is true. They're all bad, don't get me wrong, but EA just feels like the worst for some reason. They feel extra dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, I'm happy it's back. I'm hopeful that maybe this will lead to something good. Maybe this all digital thing will show us that we can have the same like Sony state of play-esque presentations, but in a fun E3 way. I don't know. It'll be fun to see. So we'll see. Yeah, I am thinking that Halo will be pushed back yet again.
Probably, there's a good chance. Yeah. It'll be interesting because now also with the consuming of Bethesda, but pretty sure the last E3 Bethesda had their own showcase. So that's just gonna bolster. It'll be interesting to see if they show some Elder Scrolls, if they show some new Fallout. People are gonna lose their minds if they show some more Elder Ring, which people are super hyped about. Which is the whatever it's called, but still, the Game of Thrones dude is helping write, so it'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
But I think like you, I for the people who've pulled out of E3, they just no longer see the benefit in having to conform to whatever schedule. And there's always this like really intense competition between whose showcase was better, when instead, if you're not part of E3, you can just like wait until Xbox's showcase finishes and then release your state of play an hour later and just pull all this steam, right? You don't have to conform to whatever is going on, and you're better able to communicate what you want to communicate in a more meaningful way, I think. So yeah, we'll see.
I'm waiting for the day that Xbox goes up or vice versa. Someone goes up, and then the other person's like, I'll plan my press conference the same time as yours. Or maybe like an hour later. I'm waiting for that. That's going to be so much shade thrown. I can't wait. I can see Phil Spencer just flipping his table over in anger if that ever happened to him. Or Shuhei Yoshida just throwing his table. I don't know. I will say what I'm most excited for this E3 is the announcement. I'm sorry, that's already been announced. More information on Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
I need more Zelda. The last Nintendo Direct that gave us absolutely nothing on that was so it was Zelda's like what 30th anniversary, I think, something like that, and we got literally nothing for it. I was like, here, have this. I mean, Skyward Sword's cool. Don't get me wrong. We got a Skyward Sword announcement. That's great. I'll probably play it too. But I was looking for way more. I've been jonesing to play Wind Waker again. I haven't played Wind Waker in forever.
Oh, that's such a good one.
And I just want it so bad. I just want to sail in the ocean with my talking boat and just play it, and I can't, and it's all Nintendo's fault, and I just want it, and they won't release it. I don't know why.
When they do, it'll be $60.
Yeah, for the next 50 years, it'll be $60, if not more. And then when the new console comes out, the Switch 2.0, it won't be re-released again for those 60 years again. So you have to keep your Switch.
Yeah.
Nintendo makes no sense at all to me, but somehow it works. I don't know. Are you looking forward to any games for E3 this year in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to see more Elder Scrolls stuff. I'm excited for that. With Nintendo, just to see what else is coming, I would love some more Animal Crossing stuff. Like a new Breath of the Wild would be really great. A lot of the gaming I do is on PlayStation, so a lot would be the Sony Direct. But maybe from Xbox, yeah, I would really just love to see some stuff from Bethesda, because I haven't played a Bethesda game in quite some time, and I really love those games so much, and they were such kind of a core part of my gaming experience that I kind of want more of that. We'll see. The PC gaming show in the past has just been really cheesy and mostly full of indie titles, which are great, and I love that they're getting that platform. But there are just so many games on PC that I just cannot keep track of. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out. There's nothing like I'm super excited for. We got an Assassin's Creed this year. We probably will maybe we'll get some info on the DLC that was supposed to come out this spring. Where you go to Ireland. We'll see how that goes. But there's nothing I'm super excited about. But I mean, we did just talk about games you're most hyped for 2021, and I'm sure they'll talk about all of those games, hopefully, at one of these showcases. But I don't remember any of those games at this moment because I'm full of COVID. Remember?
Good plug, Ryan. If you haven't listened to that episode, you can find it in our back. No.
Do the plug. Yeah, if you're interested to know what we're excited about for 2021, check out our 2020 episode. And those are the games, Eric. I want to see if the showcase.
Perfect. I can't.
We'll take that cut. Cut the first part out.
Good times.
But Eric, what is your last story you brought for us?
So my last story is one that came out pretty recently. This article is dated the 9th of April. This is by, again, this person's name who I'm going to butcher. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. Cham Gartenberg. But this is also on The Verge. The article is called Sony is reportedly remaking The Last of Us for PS5 as it chases big hits. The article kind of goes into the fact that Sony is rumored to be planning a original The Last of Us remake using the gameplay and graphical improvements that were introduced in The Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh.
And I've been hearing a lot about people talk about this and their dismay because it sounds like Sony's really putting all of their chips into their first-party development, while smaller, less lucrative passion projects are kind of pushed to the wayside. They're not really important, supposedly, in their mind. So, and it kind of sucks because there's so many good games that can benefit from remakes that aren't The Last of Us. I mean, The Last of Us is from the remaster was from 2014. So it was first released in 2013. Remaster came out in 2014. I mean, and the game looks great still. Does it look as good as games right now? No, of course not. Like, it came out for the PlayStation 3, so no, of course not. But it still looks great. I don't understand why Sony would want to do this. I mean, okay, I definitely know why Sony wants to do this. There's just so many other great games that would benefit from this. Like, for me personally, Infamous needs to come back. The original Infamous and Infamous 2. Those games are absolutely fantastic. And a remake of those would be... I would lose it. That would be amazing to me. I also have never... I saw this on... I didn't watch it, but on Kind of Funny's talking about this, they had like their clip art of their video. They had Metal Gear Solid on there. And I was like, yeah, I've never gotten to play the original Metal Gear Solid. I would love a remake of that. To play that and kind of get that experience I never got before. I'd be totally there. So, I don't know. It's very concerning that Sony's going this route. I mean, it also came out too, and the article mentions this at the bottom, that Sony Bend Studio, the people who made Days Gone, pitched their sequel, and they got rejected. And actually were put on to helping Naughty Dog with a multiplayer project and a new Uncharted game. And supposedly, the article states that Ben's leadership team was so concerned about being absorbed into Naughty Dog and just becoming a part of Naughty Dog that they asked to be removed from the project, and they are now working on their own game.
Oof.
So, I mean, That's super telling too.
Yeah.
Like that's not good. Can you imagine Ben asking Sony to be removed from a Naughty Dog game out of fear of just being absorbed? That speaks a lot. It's scary. I mean, scary for them. Like I didn't get to play Days Gone, even though I think it's free right now. I think actually, which I totally should pick that up.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. I didn't play it, but I know some people really liked it. I know it's kind of like a mixed bag of things, but Bend is a good studio, so I don't know. I hope this is actually not what's happening, but I wouldn't be surprised either. So, what are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always hard when Sony is looking to kind of. I mean, the Naughty Dog has repeatedly given them games that have been incredibly successful and won incredible amounts of awards. I think that doesn't mean you don't support those other studios, because at one point Naughty Dog was one of those smaller studios. And like you, Days Gone wasn't a game that clicked with me, but new IPs are always good. I think the more new IPs we have, the more games people can play, I think the better. The more kind of platforms people have. I do not think we all need to be playing the same game. Sort of, I think that's like what's best for the industry. And forcing studios to do certain things never feels good. I think that's just part of that culture and part of how, obviously that's how the world works, where if your boss tells you to do something, you sometimes have to do it. But yeah, I don't, and like you, The Last of Us looks really good, and it is a beautiful game as is. I do not think it needs a remake. But it's a really easy way to make a bunch of money. Unfortunately. But I just think let studios make things they're passionate and excited about, and you're going to get really good games. And might not right away, and it might take some time, but you're going to get some really good games, I think. And yeah, Bend is a good studio, and I wish they had gotten some... wish they'd gotten some more love, got to do the things they wanted. Luckily, it looks like maybe they're going to work on something. Hopefully it's something they're as excited about as Days Gone.
Yeah. It's a huge bummer. I think, I don't know, maybe I'll go back to Days Gone after I grab it from PlayStation Now, or PlayStation Plus, I'm sorry. It's free right now, I believe. So, but yeah, no, it's just a huge bummer. And I almost feel like Naughty Dog is getting too big. Like, it's almost getting too big. Especially after all of the reports that came out about the development of The Last of Us 2 and how rough it went with all those people leaving, if that is true. That's just, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and how poorly people were treated on that project, and then how many awards it won. It was kind of like great game. I really liked The Last of Us Part 2, but it's also a game I don't plan on going back to for quite a while. It is a huge downer, to say the least. Yeah. Great game. I didn't kill any dogs either. I'm very proud of myself for that.
Good job.
It took many tries to do that. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't kill them. Okay, well, sometimes you have to. But the ones I didn't have to, I did it. And I felt very proud of myself. So that's all that matters. But besides that point, I feel like a hypocrite a little bit, because I know that if The Last of Us the remake came out tomorrow, I would struggle to not buy it. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a great game. If it looked better, then yeah, it's hard to say no to that. I don't know. Would you buy it? Or I see it came out tomorrow, Ryan. Would you buy it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think it's really unfortunate that yes, it's unfortunate that they know that it will do well, because they know people love that game and want more of it. And certainly, you're not going to get more Last of Us Part 2 anytime soon. But so let's give you this experience you've already had. And like you've said, these two games together tell kind of one very good story. They on their own they tell good stories, but it's just unfortunate that I don't know. Yes, I would, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
You'd be really pissed off.
I'd be really angry while I was doing it.
Curse you, Sony, for making me do this.
Yeah, I mean,
killing clickers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and hopefully, as time goes on, more of these studios will get some more autonomy, and maybe ability to decide the things they want to do, or at least have their workers not be in terrible conditions. But that's how things are right now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's just so crazy that like everyone's backlogs are huge. I imagine right now. I mean, I'm sure the pandemic helped for a lot of people. It didn't really help me. I should have probably put more time into that if I really wanted to, with catching up on my backlog. But it just sucks that this is a lot of people support the kind of craziness that is game development right now and how unhealthy it is. I would say I don't support it, and if I had to wait twice as long to get games, I would be okay with that. There's so many games out there right now that I would be happy to go back to and replay again. A lot of times I don't go back to because there's a new game coming out that I want to play so badly that one I've already played kind of gets put on the back burner. So I would love an excuse to want to go back to these old games and play them again, and not have that like desire to play the newest one. That always plagues me a lot for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. I will say the only real positive for us, Ryan, if this does happen and a remake does happen, and we just feel lazy one week, we can just take our audio from the original Last of Us, we'll just put remake with it and just re-release it. You know,
Bam, got it. Yeah.
Bam, perfect. Same story.
We'll add a sound effect.
We'll make our voices sound just slightly better than they were before.
Yeah.
We'll improve. That's how we improve our graphics.
We'll improve the.
I did quotation marks. You can't see that. I did it for Ryan. But yeah, so that's how it'll go. It'll be great. I mean, really, this benefits everybody. Let me think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that is are the stories that we covered today. We hope you like this episode. If this is always something that we would be happy to do more of if you guys enjoyed it. It's our first run through also, so give us a break. If we ever get to the point where we want to do like a Patreon one day and you think this would be something cool to like spend $1 on, let us know. That'd be so cool. We'd be happy to do that. Or if you just want it in general, you don't want to spend $1. I don't blame you. Money's tight. And as always, please, if you have any thoughts, feelings, or perspectives, let us know at talesfromthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3's. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Comment on our posts. Let us know what you think. And we'd be happy to share those thoughts and feelings. And you can earn a sticker, which is super cool. Our stickers are great.
They're great.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I stuck another one at Starbucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I just feel like doing it, and I do. I feel like this will come back to bite me one day, but for now, present Eric is happy. Future Eric could be pretty upset. About me saying that.
We'll cross that bridge.
Well, you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. So I won't be the only one going down. There's plenty of stickers on that pole. Let me tell you. Tell you, we're all going down if I go down. Yeah, but so Ryan, I hope you feel better. I hope.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so too. I'm feeling much better than I was this morning. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, and story goes, if any of you have gotten your first or second shots and you're feeling crummy, hopefully listening to us has made you feel better, and hopefully you're just feeling better in general. It's a wild ride, that second shot. Yeah. I napped 5 times in one day when I got that shot, and then the next day I was fine. First day I was dead. Next day I was fine. Super weird feeling. Yeah. Super weird. Yeah. But as always, I hope you're doing well, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.